Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 20th, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has maintained its Tier 2 ranking in the U.S. Department of State 2019 Trafficking in Persons report for yet another year. The report states that SVG does not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of human trafficking, but is making significant efforts to do so. The report also noted that the government has demonstrated overall increasing efforts compared to the previous reporting periods. Larissa Pugsley tells us more in this report.
For the third consecutive year, SVG remained at Tier 2 on the rankings of the U.S. Department of State Trafficking in Persons report, which was released today, Thursday, June 20th, 2019. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the report serves as a call to action for governments around the world to embrace the full meaning of the Palmero Protocol and implement their domestic laws in a manner that protects all victims and punishes all traffickers. The report on SVG highlighted efforts made to tackle trafficking in persons, which include the passing an act that allowed authorities to screen for suspected traffickers and trafficking victims, increasing training to relevant government officials, increasing cooperation with foreign governments to combat trafficking, extending and updating the National Action Plan through 2020, and improving its public awareness campaigns. However, the report noted that the country did not meet the minimum standards in several key areas, such as authorities not being able to prosecute a trafficking case since 2015, and that they have never convicted a trafficker. In addition, the report says the country's anti-trafficking law, which allowed for fines in lieu of imprisonment, was not commensurate with penalties for other serious crimes. Also, government agencies cited a lack of resources for anti-trafficking efforts. The report made 8 recommendations that the government should prioritize. They are: increase investigations of suspected sex and labor trafficking cases, particularly among children, vigorously prosecute and convict traffickers, improve the quality and specialization of victim services, amend the trafficking law to improve sentencing provisions, allowing fines in lieu of imprisonment for sex trafficking offenses, increase government funding across all relevant agencies to combat trafficking, raise awareness about forced labor and sex trafficking, the need for public cooperation in law enforcement investigations, increase training for law enforcement on evidence collection in human trafficking at all levels, and create new bilateral agreements with relevant source countries to better coordinate and combat trafficking. As it regards prosecution, the report pointed out that the government did not report an update on several 2017 cases of sex traffickers purchasing sex from minors, even though the government was collaborating with the Bahamian government on a possible trafficking case. The report lauded the police for conducting several spot investigations at ports of entry, marinas, bars, and nightclubs throughout the country to survey for trafficking. When it comes to victim protection, the report said SVG maintained its victim protection efforts in that authorities identified 4 potential labor trafficking victims in 2018 compared to 4 potential victims identified in 2017. Provisions for witness protection programs and facilities for the victim to testify via video were highlighted as new programs implemented by the government. Under SVG's Trafficking in Persons profile, it was pointed out that, as reported over the past 5 years, human traffickers exploit domestic and foreign victims in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It was pointed out that traffickers exploit victims from SVG abroad and that foreign women engaged in prostitution in the country may have been subjected to sex trafficking. Foreign workers from South America, the Caribbean, and Asia may have also been subjected to forced labor both in the country and while in transit. The Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act of 2011 criminalized sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and prescribed punishment of up to 15 years imprisonment, a fine of $250,000 EC dollars, or both. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Larissa Pugsley.
Barrister at law and former Member of Parliament Renee Batiste has been re-elected Speaker of the OECS Assembly. The OECS Assembly comprises of 6 Prime Ministers and oppositions from the 6 OECS countries and meet twice per year. Batiste said she is honored for the opportunity to continue to serve the important body, which allows member countries to lend support to each other to tackle problems.
Personally, it is a distinct honor that the heads, because it's the authority heads that normally do the nomination, and that they repose such confidence in me. I think I know most of them. having been in politics quite a long time. We have met in several fora before, so they are aware of what my capabilities are to hold this position of privilege in the OECS Assembly.
And
for the country?
Yeah.
For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I believe it is also a distinction in that a Vincentian is considered worthy and a qualified Vincentian, someone who is capable and competent and has experience in parliamentary matters, even though the OECS Assembly is a peculiar type of assembly.
Issues relating to climate change and corresponding banking relations were on the agenda of the OECS Assembly at its recently held meeting in Antigua. But he said these issues affect all OECS member states, and the Assembly provides an avenue for OECS countries to take a unified approach on these issues.
The risk in the region and the potential loss of corresponding banking relations is very, very serious because of the high levels of remittances coming through from overseas in the OECS. And also, when you look at the size of the banks that require having to have corresponding banking relations because of where and how we what we're trading in, what is our currency for trading. So that is going to be very important for every single citizen. It's not going to be some of us who are going to be affected. It's all of us that will be affected. So it was a very important meeting for members to be on the same page. Usually it's in your respective parliaments, so that you are more focused on local and parochial matters. But now it's not just you, not just one country, it's all the countries that are affected by the same issue. So it is important for everybody to be on the same page. It's also important to work as a unit instead of one country doing it as a unit.
Speaking on SVG's success in securing a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, but he said this is a great victory for small island states. She had some choice words for those to criticize the capabilities of the Security Council and SVG's position as a non-permanent member.
85 countries don't just vote for you because they happen to like Vincentian chocolate. They know about chocolate. So the countries of the OECS see this as not just a Vincentian victory, but a regional victory. They see it as the opportunity to have their concerns as small island developing states being addressed at the largest table. I have seen persons lamenting the fact that since when what the Security Council says anybody bothers with it, and I thought that was a very sad sort of position to take, that nobody's bothers with it. What you must try doing, since you are an individual, see if you could oppose the resolution of the Security Council. As an individual, you're entitled to your opinion, but as an individual, what is the impact of you deciding you're not going to obey the resolution of the Security Council? You have to be realistic. You know, we have heard, and if we listen to the international discourse, and you heard that somebody did something, and eventually it catches up with you then.
Following on the pledge made by St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet to assist SVG to cover its costs as a non-permanent member on the UN Security Council, other regional leaders have made similar pledges. Speaking at a press conference following a meeting of the OECS Authority, Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didicus Jules, said other sub-regional governments are minded to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines after St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet told the OECS Assembly that his country will help fund additional staffing for SVG's office at the UN. Dr. Jules said all of the governments from member states are now minded to provide whatever support to SVG, which will take up its seat on the Council in January 2020. With this week being celebrated as Public Service Week, focusing on gender and diversity, the director of the Public Service Reform Unit, Clarence Harry, is urging more men to take up roles in public service. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Harry said that it was observed that there is a disparity in terms of numbers with women and men in the public service.
You would have the nurses are predominantly females, the teachers, majority females, the police In this case, the majority is males. So I don't know what is the reason for the gender shift. We can speculate and assume, but I don't want to do that. I'll give you my eyeball observation. So I think it's a case where we have more females in the mainstream public service as opposed to males. Men need to take their rightful part and a rightful place in society and development. I will encourage the male gender to step up to the plate. Stop hiding behind the shadows. Come center stage and take your rightful place and come up and be centered.
Harry said they have been looking at ways of improving the lives of all public servants in this country.
And we all have issues and challenges that impact our productivity and performance. And we are looking to have a facility to accommodate necessary comfort and counseling when persons are having these difficult times in their lives. So that was held on Tuesday, where the PSCs and heads were briefed as to where we are and to get their support and buy-in. Again, it was a resounding success.
On the issue of service provided by public servants, the Public Service Reform Unit Director said there is always room for improvement, and despite some challenges, most are performing above board.
Life is not perfect. There are challenges in the public service, but there are more strengths and weaknesses, and we're making every effort to correct those challenges and weaknesses.
And what are those challenges?
No, like everything is perfect. There are persons, there are resource constraints. We're trying our best to ensure that persons, lift the bar and be productive and effective on a daily basis.
Public Service Week will continue tomorrow with a symposium at the Peace Memorial Hall. On Saturday, there will be movie night with a special message for public servants on Public Service Day on Sunday, June 23rd, 2019. The divers of the SVG Coast Guard are pleased with the opportunities made available through the Tradewinds exercise to advance their skills and knowledge in the field. Responding to a question in relation to a video posted on the Facebook page of the Agency for Public Information, which features able seaman Anwar Alexander engaged in training exercise with the Canadian Coast Guard representatives, Lieutenant Commander Dion Henry of the RSVG Coast Guard said he is pleased that the young divers are taking the quality training exercise seriously.
From the Coast Guard's perspective, we are receiving quality training, and Mr. Alexander, who was on that video that you saw on Facebook, he now started dive like a few weeks ago. He was trained prior to Tradewinds, to take part in Tradewinds this year. I spoke to him personally, and he just want to go on further in his diving career. So we have set a foundation for our young divers to advance, to further diving skills, and to become instructors on their own. So we are very happy to have Tradewinds here this year. And as my comrade from Southcom said, we have done a lot.
Lieutenant Commander Henry said the exercises also helped to identify some gaps with the local service, including that of documentation.
There are some gaps, as Mr. Moore indicated. One issue that we have at the coast between all the RSS countries is documentation. And for this Tradewinds, the RSS have some procedures we call operational procedures for maritime that we are using for this Tradewinds. And by the end of Tradewinds, we're going to use all the rest RSS countries, so at least all of us can operate on the same basis. So it's a building stone. We are building capacities within the region and also within our local Coast Guard. Just to also indicate that our vessel, the Captain Humalzak, for the last 14 years or so, we have been without a cutter. For those who don't know, a cutter is any vessel over 65 feet in length. The Malzak 42 feet. So we are very fortunate that Tradewinds is here this year. We exercise our vessel crew competencies. And the guys have been doing extremely well.
Commander Justin Moye of the U.S. Coast Guard and co-maritime lead for Tradewinds Exercise 2019 said the issue of written policies is not limited to SVG but an issue region-wide. He, however, praised the local Coast Guard service and those across the region for their ability to come together to respond to various challenges.
think this speaks for the entire region, not just specifically to St. Vincent, is that we need to improve our written doctrine and policies to go ahead and provide our maritime services a common operating picture, if you will, on how to operate. In terms of strengths, I think the interoperability of the nations to be able to come together in such a short period of time and to conduct the types of operations that you water. We have 4 multinational cutters and 4 small boats right now responding to a variety of different types of scenarios. And really, that is not something that you see around the world, that nations can come together that quickly and interoperate and respond to the different types of scenarios that we're challenging them with.
Exercise Tradewinds 2019 Phase 2 will end tomorrow with an official closing ceremony at the Victoria Park from 10 a.m. Remarks are expected to be delivered by Commissioner of Police Colin John, United States Ambassador to Barbados and the OECS, Her Excellency Linda Tagley-Taylor, and Military Deputy Commander of the U.S. Southern Command, Lieutenant General Michael Plen. The feature address will be delivered by Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Commerce and Trade, Sir Louis Straker. Prior to the commencement of the closing ceremony, troops from the 19 participating countries will parade from the Central Police Station to the Victoria Park. SVG will commemorate International Yoga Day on Sunday, June 23rd under the theme Climate Action. The Indian Heritage Foundation has organized yoga event at the cruise ship berth to celebrate the occasion. President of the foundation, Junior Bacchus, said that since it was India's president who lobbied the UN for recognizing Yoga Day, they took it upon themselves to commemorate the day with such an activity, which is now its 5th consecutive year.
This year we are trying to move in a bigger way. So this Sunday morning at about 8 o'clock we are inviting one and all to gather at the cruise ship terminal. The first 40 persons to come to the cruise terminal will receive a sample t-shirt, the one I am wearing. They will get this free for them to dress in to do the yoga protocol. We are expecting government officials to be there because the ambassador had sent invitations to all the government ministries to encourage the ministers and other officials from government to be part of it.
Bacchus said a yoga specialist will be conducting the sessions at the cruise ship berth and is encouraging all Vincentians to get involved and enjoy the benefits of yoga.
Dr. Fanny Katare, he's a medical doctor teaching at the university here. He's from India. He will be conducting the session for the 3rd time this year. Dr. Katare is a very proficient doctor, and he will be able not just to engage us in some of the stresses and the breathing protocols and so on. He will also be able to explain to us the health benefits of each of the different positions, the different things that we do during that morning. So we are inviting the general public, anyone who are interested in yoga, to learn about it, how it could improve your health. Anyone coming to do it, you are encouraged to walk with a mat, so that or something to sit on, because we are doing it in the cruise terminal, so you may want to protect yourself from sitting on the floor.
Yoga Day will be celebrated at the United Nations on Thursday, June 20th with Yoga with Gurus, followed by a panel discussion on the 21st June. The UN describes yoga as an ancient physical, mental and spiritual practice that originated in India. The word yoga derives from Sanskrit and means to join or to unite, symbolizing the union of body and consciousness. Stay with us, Carnival Beat is coming right up.
All right.
Welcome to Carnival Beat. 40 Raga and Soca artists will take the stage on Saturday night at the Solidarity Inc. Car Park in Kingstown in this year's semi-finals of the Raga and Soca competition. The artists will compete for their boarding pass to the most anticipated competitions for Vincy Mass that will be held on July 6th at Carnival City, Victoria Park. There will be 20 Soca and 20 Raga Soca artists competing in the semi-finals, but only 9 artists from each category will be given their boarding pass for the finals. 3 of the Raga Soca finalists, Joel Dynamite Tyrrell, Curtis C. Vincent, and Justin J. Cali Samuel, in an interview with SVG News, said though it's their first time in semi-finals, they're very confident of being selected among the 9 who will compete in the finals. They also encouraged those who were not selected for the semi-finals this year not to give up on their dreams.
Them just got to be humble, write positive song, be specific with the lyrics, be clean with the lyrics is very important. And most of all too, the music that you produce, I hear in a lot of, like, you know, we will say kitchen music or whatever. I hate to say that, but it's true. Some of them, they come with some songs that really not going to go anywhere.
Just hold your head on, man, and don't give up. I mean, you road hard, there's a lot of pressures, a lot of fight down, them kind of thing there. But you as a man have to be confident in yourself enough to know that you I could do this. Because if you don't do it, nobody else going to do it for you.
Keep believing in yourself and, you know, put the Almighty first. Preferably do something positive, because, you know, positivity have longevity, you know. So I say just approach it with a positive mindset, and as I say, just that.
The artists promised to give off their best on Saturday night and invite all Carnival revelers to come out in their numbers and support each artist at the Soca semi-finals. Meanwhile, 3 of the Soca semi-finalists said that they are very optimistic that they will be selected for the Soca Monarch finals. Clayton Dimes Roach and Enrico Da Pixel Hunt will be performing together at semi-finals, while Tracy Scabs Cozier will be going it alone with his song Soap Up Your Skin. The artist said it was no surprise that they were selected to be in the semi-finals and wish their competitors all the best, while inviting everyone to support them at the Soca semi-finals on Saturday night.
22nd, come out, everybody come out in all the numbers match. We're going to shell this place, we're going to soap up in there now. I mean, if rain ain't come, we're going to soap up his skin, we're going to do the dance, everybody going to do the dance. But if rain come, we're still going to soap up his skin and we're going to do the dance. So it's like a plus anywhere you go. You know what I mean? So everybody take a flip in the water. Now take a dip in the water. Now take a flip in the water. Now take a dip in the water. Now take a flip in the water. Everybody soap up his skin now.
Alright. Invitation time. I am inviting you to the Monarch. Hey, you understand? Come out forward, bring your friends, your family. You're not friends. People who's not your family. We want everybody come support the thing, support Dimes and Pixels, support all the other artists, because as I say, it's not just a competition, it's about building Vincy man, so let me have a good time. Right. Come out on Saturday and Friday. Fetland. Yeah, the Fetland, you know what I mean? And the boys, you understand, celebrating my body still now. So come out and let me have a vibes inside.
Yeah, big Dimes, he 40 something now. Come on.
There's a red card. We don't want no girl pants up on no girl.
Red card.
We don't want no man tackling no man.
Red card.